As long as all of you finish by lunch. If you don't say it, then we can carry on beyond lunch. So it's instruction. I'll just make a request. I'll just take 2 minutes at the end whenever. Yeah. Insisting on that mandate, no? Yeah. Because I'm muted. Muting here.
So if I want to mute it, then
What happened in item 9 there?
it will be safe.
Which
PDF page 849.
were you preparing for? Which side are you on? Same.
840, volume 5.
You're preparing for one of the petitioners or what?
849, part of Bir Singh.
PDF 849.
Correct. Para 28.
So it's in this matter.
It's only for this, only for the sequencing. But our name of my name and learned AG's name is not there because they were not aware which side of the. Maybe subject to your lordship's permission, my lord. Address your lordships for very brief after Mr. Sibal concludes. I won't take more than 10 to 15 minutes.
Okay.
And
I guess the AG will take the same amount, probably.
I think so, my lord, because learned Advocate General has substantially, my lord, very ably, my lord, assisted your lordship.
Mr. Sibal, then
That's fine after.
Mr. Either the attorney or the
Yes, yes, the learned attorney is online.
And then we will hear Mr. Venugopal.
Venugopal.
Yeah.
I will take half an hour, my lords.
Certainly.
Half an hour.
Just one request note for Telangana, Lord. Lord, the name is not on the Lord. I'll just take 2 minutes.
Certainly, Mr. Gudasa. Mr. Luthra, just make sure, Mr. Luthra, between your other work, just make sure you are here at the right time, though.
I have not, no. I have very little work.
Oh.
I already raised the issue of estoppel against him, my lord. I already
That
discussed.
you will have to learn from Dr. Singhvi. But I've told Mr. Mehta, he and I, yin and yang, we have to be together at the same place at the same time.
That's true.
Also, on a lighter note, that only female counsel arguing on the vein of affirmative action, may I request for?
Yes, yes, Shraddha. And be prepared for a volley of questions as well. Right.
Your Lordship, I have a similar request for State of Haryana also.
Yes, ma'am, of course. A minute, 2 minutes, we'll give everybody, no? But something new, okay? Not whatever people have solved here.
Already the learned AG and Mr. Farasad have already argued for you.
We'll suggest is, honestly, what we'll suggest is after the main arguments are over, the interveners may give us just a page of submissions. Give the page of the submissions to the nodal council. Nodal council will put it together and email it to us so that, they remain on the record. So I think that's the way.
I think, my lord, other side also would get some.
Yes, they will get some time.
Yes.
All right now.
Council was very good, not some person. But I may be permitted to address your lordship on a short issue.
I just said that, therefore you give us on a page your submissions and give it to the nodal council.
Address your lordship for 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
Give us on a page. Then it's a matter of record. That's the reason I'm saying that.
I will do that. I will.
Yes.
Yes.
Carry it to the court martial.
Yes, Mr. Apple. Now, if everybody mentions their appearances, we'll be cutting down on the time available for concluding the matter. So we'll hear everybody. Don't worry. Yes. You be here, Mr. Counsel. Be here. We'll hear you. You said you are for the original petitioner. No problem. In Chennai.
At the outset, Malaz, I'm not going to repeat any of the submissions that have been made by my colleagues. Malaz, I look at it from
Yes.
In the 21st century, Millers, we are looking at issues of equality, inequality, issues relating to how we ameliorate the conditions of those who have been sidelined for centuries, who have been humiliated for centuries, who have been ostracized for centuries. I don't think we can ever imagine how they were dealt with in the context of the caste structure that prevailed. So, Madad, I think that the constitution makers in 1950, realized this. That is why the notification was issued in 1950. And they also realized that this is not going to stop. Because they gave the power to Parliament, but this is an evolving situation. They gave power to Parliament to deal with the matter. And it's unlikely that this is going to end very soon. It is in that context, Malad, that we must look at this matter. And what we can do, quite apart from reservation. For Malad, the two basic assumptions that CJI made, which were wrong, is number one, they considered the scheduled castes in the order as a homogeneous group. They assumed that this represents a homogeneous group. And I will demonstrate to your lordships that that assumption is based on no factual data. That assumption is based on no analysis of that data.
What they hold is that once they find the place in that particular group, then they are all part.
Homogeneous. What's the basis of that? In fact, heterogeneity is inherent in that.
Actually, the homogeneous nature of all the entries is for the purpose of designation.
Yes, absolutely.
They are homogeneous in the sense that each one of them is a scheduled caste. But your argument is that there is no homogeneity either in terms of the sociological profile, economic development,
Correct.
social advancement,
Absolutely.
educational advancement.
Absolutely. So that assumption in CJI was wrong.
Common factor is social and social backwardness, social and economic backwardness. But the degree may vary from one
Absolutely.
entity to another entity.
Absolutely. So the assumption of homogeneity in CJI itself is constitutionally flawed. That's the first mistake CJI made. The second mistake CJI made was that it correlated the presidential order with reservation. These are the two assumptions on the basis of which CJI was rendered. Neither of these assumptions is valid.
Because the designation is for the purposes of the Constitution.
That's correct.
It's not only for reservation, nor is it coterminous with reservation.
I'll go a step further. It has nothing to do with reservation. Well, that's the designation of this class has nothing to do with reservation. Reservation emanates from the plenary power of Parliament, which is in 16(4) for the purposes of employment.
Because Indra Swani says that it can be done even by executive instructions.
But now not anymore, Malad. Because now it's Parliament has to make a law, Malad.
What?
Now Parliament has to make a law to change the schedule, to change the schedule.
Reservation, Indra Swani goes on to say that it is not necessary that there has to be legislation. It can be done even by executive instructions.
Maybe so, Malad, but that is not part of the notification. Well, that's nothing to do with reservation. My point is, Malad, you are assuming
That may not be correct, because if there is a reservation for scheduled caste, so unless that particular entry finds in the place in the presidential order, that person from that is not entitled.
I just demonstrate that to your lordships, wherever they wanted to give reservations, they have given it. Then reservation is part of 16(4) itself as far as employment is concerned.
It's a necessary but not a sufficient condition.
Correct.
Designation under Article 341
Yes.
is a necessary condition for reservation, but it is not sufficient in itself.
Correct.
Because having been designated, there is still an enabling power which is conferred upon the parliament, or for that matter, as brother says, on the executive.
Yes, but it's the union or the parliament, Manoj, but the order itself has no reference to reservation, and I'll show that from the chapter itself. Manoj, first of all, let me go to the first point.
Yes.
And then I'll come to the second point. These are two assumptions I want to deal with immediately. Now kindly come to PDF. This is volume 4, PDF page 1381. Oh, sorry, 1386. Running page is 1381, volume 4. I'll quickly, Manoj, demonstrate that here also.
Yeah, page was on.
1384.
Manoj, sorry. 1386, volume 4. My lord has it? Your ladyship has it? Just 4 minutes, volume 4. And it's okay. Volume 4, page 1386, Manoj, PDF 1386. Looking at Punjab, Manoj.
Mr. Kasibal, just give me just a second.
Lordship has that? Just 1 minute.
Just one.
Sorry.
Volume 4, right? The
Yes,
main
volume 4,
yes.
1386.
Yes,
You have that chart now, Manoj?
yes.
Now kindly look at item 38 on the right-hand side. Mochi. We all know, Manoj.
Yes.
Now look at 34. Sapera. Sapela
I think
means
snakes.
snakes. One has nothing to do with the other. Look at Manoj, Bazigar. He indulges in acrobatic feats. Then Batwal Manoj. Actually belongs to the Rajput caste. Manoj is normally a watchman. So what you have in agglomeration of various castes which are put together who have been humiliated for centuries. The heterogeneity is clear from the table itself. I can go on, but there is one Gagra which has only 268 families in Jagraon in Ludhiana. There is a Nut which is an unskilled labor. The Koli is the hunter and a butcher. The Sasi Malads is a criminal, comes from that class.
Koli would be fishermen.
No, but originally came as hunters and butchers. That is item Malads.
So there is heterogeneity in terms of the pre-existing occupation.
That's right.
In terms of the resources or lack of resources.
Exactly.
In terms, therefore, of all the indicators of backwardness or development.
Exactly. So therefore they are put in one class.
Social status.
Yeah.
The status of every caste may not be the same in the social hierarchy as well.
Exactly. So that
Between them, some may be a little more advanced, some may be a little less advanced, people may be particularly underprivileged.
Correct. Absolutely.
In terms of other indicators like infant mortality, maternal mortality, fertility rates, which sort of define, broadly speaking, whether there has been progress in the social indicators.
Absolutely. Now that assumption was made by a observation of Justice Krishna Iyer in Thomas. And that's at page 135. Sorry, para 135, but let me give you the page. Volume 5. Page 84. ADF 84. Yes.
Did Justice Krishna use the word homogeneity or?
No, he said, he doesn't use the word homogeneity at all, Manoj. I tell you also what he said. Just have a look at volume 5, PDF 84. And this is, Manoj, in fact, quoted by Justice Hegde. And then he comes to the conclusion that they are one class. Now just see what is that.
Yes.
May I read it, Manoj?
Yes.
We may clear the clog of Article 16(2) as it stems from a confusion about caste in the terminology of scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. This latter expression has been defined in 341 and 342. A bare reading brings out the quintessential concept that there are no castes in the Hindu fold, but an amalgamation of castes, races, groups, tribes, communities, or parts thereof found on investigation to be the lowliest and in the need of massive state aid, and notified as such by the president. To confuse this backwardmost social composition with caste is to commit a constitutional error, misled by a compendious appellation. So that to protect Harijans is not to produce prejudice any caste, but to promote citizen solidarity.
In fact, by using the expression, this mixed bag,
Yes.
the learned judge is really underscoring the heterogeneity of the
Exactly.
Then in the latter part, he says, but as a large backward group,
That's correct.
deserving of societal compassion.
Correct. Now, this is quoted by Justice Hegde and comes to the conclusion that it forms a class. Now, kindly have a look at that. PDF 796, volume 5.
It's 796.
Yes, volume 5.
Para
23. This is where the judgment 22 also is erroneous.
The way of doing it is that not to deny that they form a class, but they form a class for the purpose of Article 341.
That's right. Absolutely.
So they may be a class for certain purposes, they may not be a class for all purposes.
That's correct.
Exactly what you said in your submission.
There is a level of, what should I say, discrimination which runs through this entire list. But their vocations may be different, their historical, the way they were treated may be different, there may be so many differences. The numbers may be different. The extent of discrimination also may be different. Level of discrimination may be different. For example, Malas, what we are dealing with are Majbi Sikhs and Dalit Sikhs, Malas. Now, do you know what the origin of this is? The origin of this, what is the origin of Majbi Sikhs? Guru Tegh Bahadur Malas, his body was mutilated. And he brought that body to Guru Gobind Singh. And he was a Chaman. The person who brought that body was a Chaman. So Guru Gobind Singh took him in his fold.